In a world that moves fast and forgets easy, veterans, after they take off their uniforms, coaches, shaping tomorrow's leaders today, volunteers, choosing service over self. Everyone has a story, and most of them exist because they kept trying. These are the stories, so they are not forgotten. My name is Bill Lau, and this is Semper Try, because trying beats quitting. Welcome to episode 14. I have Nate Olson here. His wife Deanna was with us last week, so she was telling me after that you want someone that's done a lot of coaching, a lot of volunteer coaching. Here's Nate. So
Here I am, yeah.
What got you into coaching? Was it your kids? Was it you had I love playing these games as a kid. Now I want other kids to enjoy them. I mean, what got you started?
Yeah, it was all of the above.
Okay.
I mean, truthfully, yeah. So, I mean, I guess quickly starting, very involved as a kid. Had two brothers and a sister, so a larger family. Sports was everything. We just basically centered our life around that, as many do, but it started way back in our day too. And so I was always around the game. I loved it. Sports was my life. I played it all the time. Grew up, everything in high school sports, went on to college, played baseball in college.
Awesome.
So that became a big thing for me. Played way too many years of amateur baseball with friends and continued that childhood dream through much of my adult career as well too. And so as that kind of faded away and we had kids and they became 3, 4, 5 and got involved with stuff, it morphed into, okay, now we're getting involved in them. And so it really kind of took off from there as me saying, I want to be involved and I want to be there. And I've told my wife many times that I feel like because I know the games very, very well, I feel like it's my duty, right? To be one of those parents that raises their hands and says, I can do this. And I think I can help make the experience better because I know quite a bit about the game.
That goes a long ways because I know like my kids will play football and I never played a lot of sports in school. I was more of a farm kid. So like they'll be like, oh, you want to help coach football? And I'm like, I watch it on TV, but I don't really know the rules well enough to coach. But then you're like, well, I can help, but I'm not a great coach on that stuff. So yeah. And then they're like, oh, you can run the sideline markers. And I'm like, you watch the football game and you're like, they're sideline people, but it's like to actually know what to do.
There's more
on that. I'm like,
think.
wow, this is complicated. You're getting yelled at by the coaches. Like, no, you got to move here. You got to do this. I'm like, So is it true they say the people that can't play coach? No, just kidding.
Well, here I am, right? Not making millions of dollars. So I guess you'd probably say that, right?
So what was the first sport you started coaching with your kids then?
So baseball would have been, I think, the very first sport that I actually got involved with coaching. Baseball, as I just said, was kind of my main sport as I grew up and continued to play through college and other things too. My son kind of had the knack of the automatic skills and always wanted a ball in his hand for something and did that. So it was kind of that your dream of, you get the kids that want to do what you did and have that same passion. So yeah, I ironically, of course, knew a ton of people involved in sports here in town. And a friend of mine that had older kids made mention one time, hey, you should have your kid try out for the travel baseball team. And this is when he was pretty young. He was probably 2 years prior to actually being the age he could do it. And I'm like, oh, it sounds fun. And we took him to the tryouts and he was a pretty good little ball player and ended up actually making the team.
Oh, nice.
And so he made the team and all of a sudden it became, this is what we all know in youth sports, right? Well, now the team is formed, right? What do we need? We need some coaches. So who's willing, who's able? So I raised my hand and kind of the rest is history on many sports and many seasons. Currently, I've done baseball, football, basketball, and it's kind of all 3 seasons and it's all the time.
So you're always coaching then?
I really am, yeah. And added on to coaching, which this is a sidebar to this conversation, but I'm also an official. So I am a varsity high school, state high school league official for football and basketball. I've done softball and baseball in the past, but Deanna will love for me to tell this story on camera, right? But we had Nolan, which is our second child. And when we had him, she looked at me and said, you got to go down to 2 seasons, maybe not all year round. So I was like, all right, I'll give up one of the seasons.
Okay, which season did you give up then?
I gave up the spring and selfishly I said, I'll give up spring, which is easy. And she responded, well, that's odd because baseball is your passion in your life. Why would you give up baseball? And I said, because it's the shortest season and the weather's terrible. So I think that's the easiest one for me to give up on doing that. So that's the story there.
So then like with this now, a lot of this is volunteering. Some coaching might lead into compensation. That ain't the topic here or whatever.
Right.
But I never really coached. I helped coach little league stuff, once in a while. But like my first experience was coaching was this last year with the high school play target team.
Okay.
And it was like, I enjoyed coaching because it was an opportunity I got as a kid. Like you said, you played these sports, but now it's like, okay, I want all these kids. I know my kids in it, but all these other kids to have this opportunity in high school to learn the aspects of this. So, I mean, it's got to be the same with basketball and baseball. I mean, yes, your kid might be in it, but tell us about like the pride you get or like helping a kid or like seeing,
Yeah.
it improve a kid's life.
I believe you've seen exactly what I'm going to probably share and have the same, passion for why we do it. And that's truly that kid that maybe can't figure something out, or honestly is coming maybe from not the greatest position from the home life and doing that. And when you get a chance to spend a ton of time with them and they look at you and they thank you for helping them out, or you see them do something that 2 months ago they were absolutely not able to do of any sort, and you see like, wow, look at the progress they've made. But truthfully, yeah, we all want to be professional athletes, but here we sit in your basement, right? So that's not going to happen for 99% of the people. But truly, to me, exactly what you teed up there is the experiences that I've gained through sports, I feel like have totally shaped the person that I've become. And I hope that is somebody in the community that's one that raises their hand to know that it's good to help everybody and not just look at your own way and doing that. And so I feel like coaching totally gives me that passion of saying, I've got a knowledge base and a skill that I think I can share with people. And I feel like I'm driven to help share and help others succeed in that passion.
And I think it probably helps too, like on the volunteer coach side of it, the parents aren't really getting, you see these high school sports and get so competitive then, and parents getting mad at the coaching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I suppose when I was doing Little League, it's probably different than what you're doing, but I was just like, the parents aren't getting mad at you. Like you trying to give every kid the exact equal time, I mean, I don't know who it was told me, it's like, I would always ask the other coaches to coach my kids because I'd be too hard on my kid and they'd be the first one out. Get out of here. But
very guilty of that.
Which, you don't want to play favoritism on that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, just any stories of any kids that you feel like you've impacted?
Well, I mean, totally. And again, backing up to maybe just what you said there too, I think when we were kids, right, like it wasn't about the money and it wasn't about going to thousands of travel tournaments and things like that too. And the world we live in nowadays, I say, I feel the reason that parents just get so passionate about doing this and the emotions come out in them is it's a huge investment. It's a huge investment in your time. Everything costs a ton of money. Equipment is more money. Travel is more money. I always say when I was a kid, you rode your bike somewhere to the neighborhood and you got together and that's what you did. And now you got to go stay in hotels and you got to go have an individual coach that's helping you on the side outside of your volunteer coach. And I feel like it's understandable why it's so emotional and so passionate for so many people is because there's just a huge investment with what people do into doing that. And then, shifting, to seeing success stories. I will share, again, I kind of started with baseball and my baseball group is kind of just truly the closest knit group that I feel like I've been able to hang with. I think this is our 5th or 6th year together as that group of kids that have been around there too. And parents have shared with me that those kids go to school or went back to school their first year and wrote that their favorite part of the summer was a certain experience they had in baseball. Or I remember a story that a mom shared with me as her child wrote the story out on how the greatest day of the summer was when we won this tournament and beat this team. And, those things, I think they're not why we're doing it, but boy, they sure make it great to realize that kid is having an experience that he'll remember those things forever in his life.
Right. And it's like, how do we get that experience to more kids? How do we share that? And like, I know we do a lot of, and we've talked in the past too, with like fundraising and how do we lessen the cost of these sports so that, you want this opportunity to be everywhere. And you hope that the parents or the kids that maybe can't afford all this stuff are reaching out. There are people that will help. And I know it's hard to ask for help, but
Yeah.
we're out here to help too,
Yeah.
to give these kids that
Yep,
opportunity.
yep, and I'll go into a different part of my life too with being on the board of the Brainerd Sports Boosters for that too, and where you're bringing that up, Bill. I hope this gets out to the masses, and I hope you have a ton of following on here because whatever activity you are looking to participate in, and at whatever grade level you're at, there is financial help for many, many, any opportunity that you can do. Again, I'm on the board for the Baseball Association. I've sat in on the fundraising committee for the Hockey Association with the Brainerd Sports Boosters for other things too. Financially, if it's a problem for anybody, there are so many resources out there that people, I know pride gets in the way, but boy, you hope that a kid doesn't lose out on an opportunity that financially it would be something that help would be there.
Yeah, I know,
So,
like you said, I know that with the Brainerd American Legion, we work with the Sports
absolutely.
Boosters a lot, and the opportunities are out there, and the following is growing, interviewing good people, them sharing, so we'll get out there. But yes, the local community is very supportive, so that is awesome. I just appreciate having this. Like I said, I didn't know how this looked, as talking to a coaches, but the coach and somebody especially that volunteers to it, you just shape these kids' lives. And we can go back to what your wife said, and some of the stories I was just listening to, like, oh, is that what she was talking about with ACEs or whatever? Be that one person that a kid looks up to, and I'm sure that there's plenty of kids out there that maybe that coach is that person.
And I think, Bill, that we sometimes like overlook the impact that we actually can have on kids too, and it's not why I'm doing it, but I sure hope that I'm helping provide a stable influence of some sort on many kids' lives while standing out there and doing it. And I think that that's true too. And to your point, right, Deanna talked a little bit about ACEs. I've learned all kinds of it because she's very passionate about that in my household, and she's explained to me many times you didn't have to go through all these things, and that many kids have to do that too. And though I feel blessed and lucky that I didn't have to, I have totally opened my eyes up to saying, it's easy to just judge something really quickly by looking at the cover of the book, right? But open the pages up and read the story and feel about what's going on in there. And for me, that usually involves a lot to do with kids and their sport lives that they're working on there too. But you can quickly see that a kid's either had a bad day or continuously has bad things going on that where they're coming from, and you just really try to grab on to those kids and realize they stay involved, stay in this thing, because you're going to stay around usually a better group of friends and a better group of people that are going to keep you busy and keep you away from the things that you don't want to be doing and that you shouldn't be doing. So I think that sports certainly provides a great opportunity for kids for the rest of their life, right? Like it's the moment now, but for shaping their future on just so many things that you learn, not about winning or losing, but just the teamwork, the dedication, the loyalty, the hard work, the adversity that you have to go through, that it's not always going to go your way, but how do you respond and how do you overcome things and hurdles that are in front of you? I just think those play out in real life for the rest of our life.
And I think I was like listening to that now too, like I wish there was a way, and I know I can't solve anything or I don't know anything like this, but like, the high school getting so big and, they have tryouts, which is great, but it's just like, I think there are kids that just want to be part of that team, and to see them get cut from being part of that team, I think those kids know that, hey, I'm okay. I enjoy this. I might not be good enough to play, but like, can I be part of the team? Can I practice with the team? And it's like, how do we get through to these high school coaches and these ones that are paid? And I know it's expensive, but if the parents have paid the $300-400 for the kids to be part of the program, maybe they might not get to go to the away games, but maybe they can practice, maybe they can learn, maybe they can improve. I mean, high school is a long time, middle school is a long time. There's 4 years. I mean, there could be 3 years of improvement. You don't know if you're just, I've seen it. I've seen it in my own kids, and there is nothing worse than watching a kid try so hard at a sport. And I watched him practice every night. I watched him go to the Y and practice. He was practicing with his friends. And then because he didn't play in 5th and 6th grade and 4th grade and travel, that he didn't find a passion for this sport until 8th grade. So he tries out in high school, and then you miss it by a little bit. And it's like, I just don't like that part of the program. I because like I said, there's like, how do you know, like, I mean, let's look at professional sports. How many people sit on the bench for how many years? They come off and they're the best players ever. It's like, I think they put too much focus on, yes, we want a winning team. You're a high school, you want to win, you want to get those championships, but okay, that's your varsity teams. You got other teams. Let's let them be part of the teams. So if there is any high school coaches out there or any people that are involved in that, and you can step back from a minute and realize you're getting paid and say, hey, maybe there is a point there, just give them a chance to be part of something that gives them something to do after school versus not having something to do. So
there's always a diamond in the rough, right?
Right. And I'm not saying Mike, but just that sense of being, of any type of team, of anything. And I've told this story before with like the clay target team, and I know the fishing warrior team. I know the high school might not 100% recognize them as sports or whatever, but in my opinion, they're the best sports out there. Every single kid gets the exact same opportunity. You get 50 targets this week.
Yeah.
Every single kid on the team gets 50 targets.
Yep.
Not every kid on the basketball team gets 30 free throws. Not every,
True. Yeah.
So it's just like, and then that kid, you're part of a team, you have your team support, but it's individual. Like, hey, how can we help you? You want to get better, stay after, we'll help you, that kind of stuff. So,
and it's a lifelong sport too, right?
Yeah.
Like I've through the boosters, I've gotten to know some more about the target team and the fishing team. And though it's usually not I'm going to call them the mainstream sport kids participating in those, it's a wonderful opportunity to bring it out there. And many of us grow up to love hunting and love fishing. And it's a great life lesson where you learn things about the actual sport because it's a sport, right? It's not about waking up in the morning, go sit in your stand, shoot a deer, right? Like my kids are just getting into this too. And it's like, there's a lot more to it than that. And the responsibility falls back on you to go become a, target practice, become a good shot. So the animal doesn't suffer because of your errors or whatever
and then
it might be. And
I mean, fishing and hunting too, you're teaching a kid that food just doesn't come from a grocery store.
Right? Yes.
You hear that story too many times
sustainable.
too.
Yep.
So how can somebody listening to this, how do they get involved with Sports Boosters? How do they help if they just want to help in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, Sports Boosters would be wonderful if anybody wants to support that cause. Again, we've donated, I think the total is up over $2 million for our lifetime span of money back into Brainerd youth athletics. And again, I like to plug it when people ask me anything about Brainerd Sports Boosters is, though we do help a little bit with these areas, we're not just plugging money into the football team and the basketball team, right? Like we've given numerous money to, the clay target team, the Vacation Land figure skating club, the BMX bike track racing, the ski loons water sport team that does on there too. There's many ways that we're trying to give opportunities to kids.
I've heard it's in the high 20s, 30s teams, different teams, sports type events that you guys have with?
It's 32, 33. Okay. Well, and that's just that we manage some of their funds to do that too, because that's the high school league. But then beyond, some of the things I mentioned aren't through the high school. Okay. So there's more in there too. I would say the impact we've had is probably 40 plus on specific individual teams that are in the area here too. So yeah, so that's great. You can become a member there for as little as $50. It's a donation, if you will. As a member, you just are a part of the club and can come to our noon luncheons at the American Legion. We have every Thursday
during the school year
from noon to 1. Yeah, we recognize a specific sport along with an athlete of the week that was chosen through the dispatch. And we just try to highlight kids. I think this is a great way to say the reason we've kept doing that. And, I'll pause and say, I know a ton of athletic directors in the area through my officiating life that I do on there too. And I hear that we are the only town in the state that has such a recognition of our athletes to pull out and do this for the Booster Club. So I'm very, very thankful and happy that we do that. As you know, through the Legion, we provide an opportunity for these kids to really come over there and get to tell some of the public who they are and what they do. And one of the things that I've thought about trying to get this message out there is it's easy to judge kids nowadays, right? Like we hear that, right? Like all kids do is sit on their phone or do electronics or play games and like that too. And I'm like, I challenge anybody that thinks that, show up to a noon luncheon and ask these kids what they do, what they're involved with outside of just the high school sport. You'll be blown away that these kids are getting up every morning and lifting weights or running or doing cardio. Then they're going to school all day. Then they've got after school practice and or games, and they travel and they get back at sometimes midnight or after, and they got to wake up and go to school in the morning. And for the most part, these are also the kids excelling in the classroom as well too. And I think what sports teaches you is that's not a coincidence. These kids are kids that are dedicated and hardworking and know that it's not easy, that they got to put in time both in the classroom and off the classroom in order to be good at what they do. So I feel like that's just a huge part of sports in general.
Yep. And then like what I like to take with the Legion is, some of these groups will come individually and look for extra donations for a travel, for a sponsorship. And what we at the Legion like to take to do, and I love to see these kids, is we like to bring them in and have them volunteer to do a meat raffle or volunteer to help clean up or help serve tables. And it is just so awesome, like seeing, and it's funny that a high school kid is learning real world math and counting money.
Yeah.
Like I want 3 $2 tickets. Here's a $20 bill. And then the kid will just stop.
Yeah.
And they look at the other kid, and then by round 2, round 3, they've got the, or they come back a month later and it's like, I know school teaches you math, but until you physically doing it and you're putting in a real world situation. So, and then just talking, and then these people at the Legion love it. They love to see these kids come in and volunteer and then ask them what they're doing or just, what are you raising funds for? And just to see the kids actually volunteer versus just dumping over money.
Yep. So, again, back to the baseball group that I'm with too. We've done meat raffles in the past. We've done some grocery bagging and some of the other things too. And that's the lesson to learn, right? Is if you want or need financial help from somebody, go see if you can do some work for them, right?
There's always opportunities.
Get some real life skills of looking an adult in the eyes rather than looking down and asking them, would you like to buy a ticket, right? And the response, of course, from adults is always very, very giving.
Yes.
That people are so willing, and we're very thankful that people
we have
in
a
town
great
here
community.
It's unbelievable. I always say, you start thinking about something and think, how can we do this? And I've been in a lot of projects of like, oh man, this sounds impossible. And a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, you're over halfway there of just getting the work done, whether it's financial or getting people to raise their hand to volunteer or whatever. I'm blown away that the community here is just always willing to see that. Yeah.
Right. And then especially with the tougher times going on, there's going to be a bigger need to keep these sports
For
going.
sure.
So we don't want to any sport to be lost, our town or any of the surrounding towns, and it's like, so keep helping, reach out. I'm sure Sports Boosters has a website that people can look into.
BrainerdSportsBoosters.org is the site. You can become a member on there. The donation is on there. We have tons of events. If you don't mind, I'll plug. We have Tapped and Corked is a massively huge fundraiser for us. It brings in over half of the funds that we get for the entire year that we give back. Again, typically almost in a year's time, about 6 digits is what we usually give back each year. And so this event is huge. I think it's wonderful. You come and you get to taste and sample numerous adult alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages.
I've seen they added that ticket this year, and non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic's been a
sampling.
Ticket since the first year we've did it. Yeah, so this is the 11th annual on there. So it's awesome that we've got
now you've
that.
added in some food sampling.
And there is, up to, in the past, we haven't finalized everything for this year, but last year we had 8 food vendors. And honestly, when we started this, it was more about the craft beer market, which is still there, but we all know it's becoming more a challenge for that thing to be out there. But there's just so many more things now.
Yeah, it's the RTDs.
It's ready.
If you're not, ready to drink. I'll say I was in the industry before, but it's the RTDs and
and so many things that are out there too. And I'm the chair of the organization, so I this is a big one for me. And hearing from Mark Dockendorf at Cashwise and some of the distributors that we've got that help us out, more and more non-alcoholic beverages are what people are buying in the off-sale market. So it's great to see that people want to go out, enjoy things responsibly and do that. So it's a big part of the event to do that. And then the food, as I mentioned, great local food vendors that come in and have really, really good food. And the tickets, it is $60 to come in, but it's for 3 hours. You get to sample as many possible anything that you want. And so we definitely want you to be responsible while there and keep it down to an ounce sampling. So nobody gets out of control of any sort. We want to keep it
right, but it gives you that opportunity to try stuff out. But it really gives you an
opportunity to come in there and do that. And truthfully, it's more about the camaraderie of the event. We've sold out 10, I think 9 of the 10 years that we've had tickets. So,
well, I know you started small. And
we did.
We expand locations.
Yeah, we totally did. Yeah. So the event, when we started it, we didn't really know what it would become. And I would say that we never dreamed it would be where we're at right now with what it is. And if you've never been, come check it out. Yes. I promise you will feel very much that when you walked away, it was well worth your time and money to come in and do it. It's a wonderful thing with just the people there. And just the socializing and the event it is, and the fundraising that it gives to a great
huge fundraiser for the sports boosters. So like I said, it's $60, but if you have the time and you can come, it's well worth it. You're helping over 40 organizations out there.
And since we're talking youth sports and coaching there too, on the Brainerd Sports Boosters website, we have created I'm going to say it's a conglomeration of all youth activities that people can do. So this was kind of dreamed up a couple years ago from us by saying, if somebody new comes to town and wants to join blank as a sport, they don't really know where to go get information on doing it. And so we did go out there and grab resources and everything we could possibly put together with local associations and organizations that offer activities for kids. And it is all out on our website too. So if anybody does want to try to find that, it's hard to get everything on there, but we do our absolute best to stay involved and keep things updated on there.
And I'm sure if somebody knows of something that isn't on there, they could reach out to you.
Yeah.
Work on getting it added,
There's an info email. If they don't know me or know how to contact me, there's an info email on the website that you can share a link or a contact as to who you can get an opportunity out there. We will happily add anything.
Yeah, we want everybody to be involved.
For sure.
So awesome, Nate. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Semper Try. Just trying beats quitting. I'm really enjoying this, so we'll see you next week. In a world that moves fast and forgets easy, veterans, after they take off their uniforms, coaches, shaping tomorrow's leaders today, volunteers, choosing service over self, everyone has a story, and most of them exist because they kept trying. These are the stories, so they are not forgotten. My name is Bill Lau, and this is Semper Try, because trying beats quitting.